Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's me, the Lewd D-O-double-G, with the good old great boom shot. And we've we had our I guess you could say our mid-season break, kind of like Arrow or like Flash, for a couple weeks. They kind of have a bit of a break and they come back.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Notorious for that too.
Yes, I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's a good show. Chloe Bennett. Oh, very, very beautiful woman.
I haven't watched that final season.
I haven't either. I haven't either. And now that we've finished with the semester, which is why, by the way, we've been kind of absent because we had our finals going on, and I had some other stuff I had to kind of take care of with work and just a whole bunch of crap. But yeah, that's the reason we kind of took our mid-season break. And you should probably expect another one maybe when our final
Later
finals.
In the spring.
Yeah, when our finals, because we're graduating, huh, Boom?
Oh, I don't know about you, but I am.
Well, yeah. No. I will.
For
be
sure,
graduating.
I am.
For sure, I am graduating. So I mean, I don't know about Boom, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So we expect another one at some point, but yeah. So we're back now, and a lot has happened since our absence, huh? I mean, not really a lot happened, but like up until like last week, then like everything exploded.
These last week, 2 weeks have just been insane.
No, they've been freaking crazy, man, and it's
between
been awesome.
The Disney Investors Day announcements.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The Game Awards. Speaking of the Game Awards, Left 4 Dead is back.
Dude, I know.
Another Mass Effect is happening. Dragon Age. Well, there was another trailer for the next Dragon Age. They still won't tell us when that's happening.
Yeah, of course.
Sephiroth got announced for Smash.
And Boom, you've been playing Sephiroth, haven't you?
I've been playing the crap out of Sephiroth ever since he dropped.
Every time we talk since he's dropped, Boom's like, "Oh, I'm playing Smash."
Yeah, I'm playing Smash. Oh, I'm playing Sephiroth.
Yeah. So yes, as Boom just pointed out, a lot has been going on, a whole ton. I actually wanted to bring up something today that I had seen yesterday, and the reason I wanted to bring it up is because we've talked about this in previous episodes, but we've talked about how video game movies hardly ever translate well because they never really take the core of what was popular, what was great about the games, right? Like, for example, main characters or storylines are just things that people love that don't translate well to watching, but are great playing, right? And so with that, I wanted to...
Like certain themes that also don't, translate very well to general audiences.
Right. And something I actually really wanted to point out, and when I saw this, I started laughing, was Monster Hunter came out, right?
Oh my god, bro. I wanted it to be good. I play Monster Hunter.
I know, this is why I'm bringing
Monster
it up.
Hunter since Monster Hunter Try on the Wii. And I play a lot of Monster Hunter World. And I actually just got back into it over this last month and a half. I've been playing Iceborne again. And so I was like, oh, it's going to be cool. They did the crossover with the game. You can unlock Mila Jovovich. Skin. There's a special quest line you can do. And then the movie was bad, but I didn't expect anything else because it's the same duo that did all the Resident Evil
which movies. Makes sense as to why they picked Mila Jovovich.
So I expected, because it's his wife.
Yeah, for sure.
The director.
Yes, it is.
So I mean, at this point, I expect anything they touch to be a really decent action movie, but to be a terrible movie overall. I don't expect any. Did you see the last Resident Evil movie? I forget what it was called.
Yeah. Of course,
horrible.
It was awful.
Terrible.
Yeah, no, it wasn't great.
The only good Resident Evil movies by them were the first two. The first two, at the very least, there was an attempt to be made. 3 on, there was just, hey, we're just gonna make another movie with Mila Jovovich in it. And there's kind of maybe zombies.
Well, I mean, Mila Jovovich is cool and all, but yeah, it doesn't really help.
Yeah.
It doesn't really help.
I don't hate her as an actor.
Sucks.
I hate the movies that she stars in.
No, absolutely. No, that's so funny. And dude, I was so, because I was like you, right? I'm always hopeful when there's a a video game movie coming out like with Assassin's Creed and obviously all the Resident Evils and stuff like that. But man, when I saw IGN rated it a 3, I was like,
Bro.
I started laughing. I was like, fuck.
Well, I wasn't mad. I was like, man, I have to. Well, I want to watch it now because I want to see how bad it was.
Right.
Because
absolutely.
if it was that, because IGN, aside from being, they review like entertainment in general.
Right.
They mainly do video games, and so I would expect that at the very least, someone who plays Monster Hunter to enjoy it to an extent.
Right.
So I want to watch it myself before saying, "Oh, it's a terrible movie." Well, now that I know that it's that unenjoyable for a general reviewer who might not have that experience playing the games,
right.
I want to see how I feel about it having played the games, because it'll either be way worse or way better.
Well, I mean, that's also the assumption that someone who doesn't play Monster Hunter doesn't play Monster Hunter reviewed it. I mean, because I think you're right. Like, they mainly do video games, so you would kind of assume that they reviewed it from a general audience standpoint. So yeah, I can definitely see that, and I'm also with you, man. I mean, I don't play Monster Hunter, but I would love to watch it just to see how bad it is. And also, let me just say this: I would like to say this, that IGN's reviews are not the end all be all.
They're definitely not.
They're not. They're not.
Not.
It's just interesting to see that
I'll
Monster
never forget
Hunter,
Too Much Water.
Yeah, exactly. That they actually reviewed it at a 3 out of 10. So that makes me want to watch it even more so than before.
Yeah, I gotta know why it's a 3. That being said, I haven't seen any good reviews over it. I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any good thumbnails about it. Let me rephrase that, because I haven't actually watched any of the reviews because I don't want to know anything else other than it's a bad movie before heading in.
For sure. Because I mean, that's not going to dictate whether or not I watch it.
Yeah,
it's just going to dictate
from the trailers and from behind the scenes stuff that I saw from promotion.
Right.
That they got blessing from the Capcom team that works on Monster Hunter. And, I mean, they have, game-accurate models for all the monsters that show up, like Rathalos and Black Diablos.
Yeah.
So, at the very least, it'll look good. And I see that they use, the dual blades and the greatsword weapon types. But I want to know how deep they go into it.
Well, I guess
when Mila Jovovich uses the dual blades, does she use the demon mode? Does proof of a hero play at the final hunt? The stuff that really matters when that really capture the magic of Monster Hunter.
Well, I guess we'll see. I just thought that was funny. I just wanted to pull that out there because, we've always kind of talked about this stuff, but yeah. Anyways, anywho's, so we had Boom mentioned this briefly. We had the Disney Investors Day happen, and as we all know, our big old sexy brute of a man, Pedro Pascal, has been carrying the Star Wars franchise on his back, and I'm actually taking that
for
from a meme.
For the past year and a half, easy.
Yes, and I'm taking that from a meme that Boom sent me earlier, so I'll put that up on the screen right now if you're listening to this on YouTube. But holy shit, dude, The Mandalorian has been fucking awesome. Holy crap, dude! It's been.
I want to watch the finale so bad.
Yeah. Me too. I'm gonna be watching it real soon here. But. I am super excited because of everything they announced. Aside from Pedro Pascal being, literally great and amazing, and just and not only for us, not only do we view that but he also is super happy about being the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, you can tell he loves it.
Yeah, and which is great because it nixes all those things that we had talked about in the past of. He was upset about not wearing his mask, right? We had seen some of that
all those
discussions
rumors
happening,
and we addressed that here.
Yeah, we did. We
from the beginning, I never assumed that was the truth.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, now even more so, he seems super gun ho about everything. But
yeah,
aside from all that, aside from the Mandalorian being literally one of the best things to come out of 2020, well, the second season specifically,
And the Mandalorian's been everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Like with
For sure.
as far as merchandise, the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
Fortnite thing where you can have him and you can have
Yes.
Din and Grogu.
Yes, yes, yes.
I mean,
He
Disney is milking it. Not in like, oh, they're putting him on like the cereal boxes, like stuff that's usually annoying, but like stuff that's actually like cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
and in Minecraft, they did a Star Wars thing, and you can like ride around in the. Well, I say ride around. You can use the Razor's Crest to like go from iconic Star Wars place to iconic Star Wars place in Minecraft.
That is really cool. But another thing that's kind of the Mandalorian is kind of birthed, and I'd actually like to get into this conversation with you, Boom, is the Star Wars spin-off not movies, shows. So like we have Ahsoka, right?
Yeah.
That was announced, and I think Disney played their cards right with this one. Like it feels very calculated in that they were like, all right, let's see how this does, and if this does very well, then we'll jump off from there. And I mean, it seems like it's paid off, right? Like it seems like with the announcement of the Ahsoka and the Bad Batch and Cassian, Obi-Wan,
was it Rangers of the New Republic?
Yes, Rangers of the New Republic.
Rogue Squadron, which is apparently not going to have anything to do with the games. It's going to be its own thing.
Which is fine. I don't have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with that either.
Yeah. But yeah, that them having the ability to do all that speaks a ton to the quality that they've produced here. I mean, because you see like you see like, and I hate to kind of compare, you know, apples to oranges, right? But you can't help but do that. You see like CW shows, for example, right? You see like Arrow and The Flash.
Well, I hear a CW show, man, hard skip. I don't want to watch it.
No, exactly.
I've been like so burned. I guess burned and burned out by CW shows,
right? Not
because they have great visions.
Yes,
not that it's like an immediate death sentence.
No, absolutely.
But they usually have great visions for something, but terrible or mediocre execution.
Exactly. And I say this. I'm agreeing with this, but also Smallville is one of my favorite shows ever because of the nostalgia specifically, and that's kind of the beginning and the end of it. But like, yes, with the CW shows, that's kind of how you see it, right? It's like, oh, you're gonna see pretty people, you're gonna see kind of okay costumes. Yeah. The production budget's not really there.
The random minority cast.
yes, the black sidekick. Yeah, and I think that's why these shows never really make it to that level. You know, the level of The Mandalorian. But that being said, the Arrowverse still existed, right? We still had all that stuff, and I'm comparing the two because I think you can see the level of like interest and the level of quality that and those parallels that kind of are kind of shed to light in comparing these two things, because with all the millions and millions of dollars spent on the one Mandalorian show, right? On the one show, now they're able to do all of these things, right? They're able to do Ahsoka. They're like, you know, all the shows that we've mentioned, and I think it's just super cool, and it's kind of like I guess it could kind of be like a change in a rift in the way we see TV, right? And the way we kind of it's revolutionized that in my eyes.
I wouldn't say agree to disagree because I feel like we've already been there. I just feel like now Disney has,
you know what, you're right,
seen the light, I guess, because we've been seeing Netflix originals and Hulu originals and HBO originals for a while now.
So no, I agree with that,
But now Disney, now that they have their streaming service, I feel like Mandalorian was kind of like, we're gonna try this, we're gonna see what happens,
right?
And now that it's done really well for the past 2 years, just whole slates of this stuff. Now they're casting a way bigger net.
Yeah. Well, okay, let me kind of agree with you, but also kind of just continue the conversation. So, I think that you're right that yes, for sure, Netflix and Hulu has like done their originals. But the thing is that I think HBO did this more so than Netflix and Hulu, because Netflix and Hulu, we never saw anything as big as The Mandalorian. The only thing, and this is from at least my perspective and like watching things, is I was going to say the closest thing to that was I was going to say Stranger Things and Daredevil, right? That became kind of these like pop culture phenomenons, and even Daredevil was more in the nerd area.
Yeah.
Stranger Things
12 Reasons Why was
13. 13 Reasons Why.
13 Reasons Why. Yeah. Exploded after the first season, died in its second. I don't know anyone, like, aside from myself, who even began the second season.
I know a few people, and they don't necessarily enjoy it. From everything I've kind of I could gather, and I never watched that show. Just I don't know. I didn't really enjoy the way the book itself kind of portrayed things, and this is me just reading a little bit of it and kind of because it was a huge thing for a while, you know. But anyway, those are my own personal kind of thoughts behind it. But I mean, that show also has just subject matter that, and we kind of discussed this yesterday in the stream, Boom. But subject matter that. It's kind of difficult to get right, you know. It's not going to appeal to most people who watch it, just because you have to keep in mind that everyone has different experiences on the topic of like suicide and depression and, you know, anxiety and stuff like that. But yes, I mean I'm just, my point is that we haven't seen anything explode in this manner other than like Game of Thrones. Because I feel like, and I know you haven't watched Game of Thrones, and I don't know that you'll ever watch it, because I know we've kind of talked about it a little bit. But Game of Thrones was kind of HBO's Mandalorian in that it was so big, and everyone and their mother was watching Game of Thrones, right? And there was posters, and there was like $7 million episodes that were filmed and all this stuff. But now that type of money is being put into each episode of The Mandalorian rather than the big episodes of Game of Thrones. Like, if that makes sense. Like, there's that kind of shift.
Where some episodes will have, like, a smaller budget, but then, like, the season finale and the season premieres are going to have way bigger budgets.
Right. And I think The Mandalorian... then let me just say this. And after kind of talking about this, let me just kind of say then that, yes... We did see some of that in the past, but I feel like Disney with The Mandalorian has fine-tuned the system, I guess, and has kind of, in my eyes at least, and from what I can see, has fine-tuned it and found something that works. And so I think we'll see that for a while, kind of like with the Marvel movies and the Marvel kind of way of doing things with the phases and how that worked really well. I think we're going to see that kind of continue, and we might see other people follow suit with it. But I think it's really revolutionized the way we see TV in general, and I think people, other production companies, are going to follow suit. And yeah, I mean that's that's really cool. I just think it's awesome.
And speaking of the Disney Investor Day stuff, I mean the Marvel stuff that came out was probably just as well, maybe not just as good.
Yeah.
Or as it's not as meaningful as the Star Wars one, because the Star Wars announcements mean a lot more.
They do. They really do.
Because we didn't know that any of that was happening.
For sure.
But with the Marvel announcements, it's all very interesting to talk about.
I think so too, yeah.
WandaVision's about to come out.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be awesome.
We have Loki that's about to come out in March.
Yes.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier is supposed to come out like 2 months before that. Black Widow, we have no idea what the hell's happening with that still. Those maniacs.
Dude, they really just don't want to release it.
No, they don't want to release it digitally, and I don't get it. They're sitting on this movie that's done. Okay, whatever. Different conversation. What If just got a trailer and it looks sick. They're doing what we expected. All the what ifs. There was one in the trailer where What If T'Challa ended up being picked up by Yondu instead. Where he was like the son of Ego.
Yep.
And he ends up being Star-Lord. There was the Marvel Zombies one, which is interesting because they're not doing... I never expected them to do classic Marvel Zombies.
Right.
It seems that they're doing what if the MCU became a Marvel zombie universe.
Right. Which is what that show should be, is kind of raising these other questions that we have yet to really see.
Yeah. So I'm really excited after seeing that like snippet of zombie. I'm gonna assume Captain America just because in the comics it's Colonel America.
Right.
For universe reasons.
For
Against
universe
Bucky,
reasons.
and that. I mean, I'm already really interested from the way that the shows that What If looks animated. I really like the way that it looks.
I'm glad that it's animated. I've been fiending for some good quality Marvel animation.
Oh yeah.
Just
And
because
then-
a lot of it's not that great, but anyways.
No, I feel you. Some of like the earlier cartoons,
Yeah.
like aside from like X-Men and the '90s Spider-Man.
I did like Ultimate Spider-Man, I won't lie, but
Ultimate Spider-Man was good, but I was never like hooked on it.
yeah, for sure.
And then there's Miss Marvel, which we already have like a full cast list for,
Which
and that
is
should
cool.
be out soon enough.
I'm excited about that, man, for sure.
I'm excited about it, but I did hear some pretty controversial stuff about the actual casting.
Really? I had not.
Because most of the castings for like the family and like the family friends and stuff, how some of them aren't even like Middle Eastern or Muslim.
Oh,
how it's
I
like,
understand, yeah.
They're like half something whatever. There was an Indian lady who's playing like a Pakistani, and how there's not like that many actual Muslims on the actual cast, and like portraying Muslims, like actual practicing Muslims on screen.
Right.
And
Okay.
I can understand it
Yeah, me too.
because that would have made sense to me, right? To like find unknown Muslim actors, because you don't really see that many high profile Muslim actors anyways.
Right.
So it would have been a really good chance to highlight people like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of is what it is, and they've already started shooting, so I don't expect them to change it. So I'm not like, oh, damn them. How could they do this? Because what
But
are they supposed to do
also,
at this
yeah.
point?
But
They already have all
also,
the
like-
contracts done.
Yeah,
Ink's
yeah.
dry. They've already started. They've already sunk money into shooting. I don't expect them to scrap it and restart.
No, for sure, absolutely. And it's kind of hard though to here's the other thing that I think is interesting with issues like that is and I've heard this conversation a lot being in theater and having to I'm always like around the entertainment business, right? Like this is literally my life aside from the Angry Belly. Is the question of, do you cast like the person who's best for the job, or do you cast because of the way they look? Like, and now I'm not saying those things can't go hand in hand, right? Like they absolutely can, but these are conversations that have been posed in some of my like classes in college, because it's a discourse that's happening in our world today and has become more prevalent than ever, right? And then sometimes it becomes
you're
that
right.
issue.
I actually had a conversation about this with my mother, with Selena.
Oh,
show on Netflix.
Yes, that has been a big thing. In our culture specifically, but yeah, it's been a big conversation lately. Yeah.
My mom was like, "Oh, well, the girl doesn't even look like Selena." I'm like, "Sure, but I would guarantee that she was picked for her acting ability, and
Right.
less because she looks like Selena."
Right. And I think it's an interesting conversation. I don't think it's a bad conversation to have. I mean, I've had this conversation with some people, and
It's definitely one worth having. I don't
Yes.
think there's a wrong answer.
yeah. I mean,
I think
I think there is a line, like there is a wrong
There's-
answer
yeah.
when you're trying to cast T'Challa. Let's say Disney is not
You're
recasting
not
T'Challa.
gonna cast a white man.
Exactly. Like there's a line that you don't cross, and that's the line, right? Like something completely opposite and off kilter for sure. But
Yeah.
I do agree with you, and I do think there's a conversation to be had, because, I mean, at the end of the day, are you gonna want to get?
It's definitely all about context, is what
It is. There's a lot of context, and there are conversations that happen behind closed doors that we don't know, which gives us the context of X, Y, and Z things.
Yeah.
Now, do I think that there was, like you said, there was a good opportunity to kind of shed some light on some new Middle Eastern actors that we don't know about and give them a space? Yes, there obviously was a missed opportunity there. But also, it's a business at the end of the day as well. You want to have someone who can perform. So I think everything like that is very situational.
They also can't spend forever just trying to find like the absolute perfect person to fit like every single facet of their role.
Absolutely. And
they
also
have to you take from who they have best of.
Exactly. And you also just can't please everyone.
Yeah, there's also that. There's also not going to be pleasing everyone.
There's not going to be pleasing everyone. And I think, again, there's obviously a line that you don't cross, casting a white man in a black man's role, like, stuff like that is very obviously not okay. Yeah. And don't get me wrong.
Scarlett Johansson had been cast as a trans woman.
Oh my god, yes. The trans woman should definitely be cast as a trans woman. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, ScarJo.
Yeah. Or how she was cast as like an Asian robot in Ghost in the Shell.
Okay, well yes, the person should have been Asian who was cast for sure. Yeah. I mean, you can't really cast a robot, but we take what we can get. Yeah. Those conversations are interesting, and I don't want anyone listening to be like, Louis, what the fuck? I think
now we're obviously joking, but the conversation is serious.
No. The conversation makes sense, and I understand. I like Boom. I think Boom and I are like-minded on this. Like, we understand why it's a big deal, but there's also conversations that sometimes people don't remember that happened behind closed doors, and remember that it's also a business, and stuff like that. So that's very interesting though. I am excited for the show. I hope it's good, and I hope that it all works out in the end. And
then the last couple things that were announced were Eternals is still happening. Captain Marvel 2 is a thing. Yeah. The Hawkeye show that we kind of knew about for a little bit.
Oh, we got Kate Bishop photos and yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then She-Hulk,
which was a bigger one too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about that because we had heard the rumors about She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And there was there's a rumor going around, I think, about Daredevil, Matt Murdock being in She-Hulk because obviously he's a lawyer, so it makes sense.
Right.
And then there was also the rumor like having to do with that with Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
With Daredevil being there and how Matt Murdock would end up being Peter's lawyer.
Yes, absolutely. And Spider-Man 3, talking about that movie, has already had 2 of its own podcasts at this point.
Because it's going to be fire.
It's going to be great.
You have to trust me.
And I'm still on the fence about having Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire potentially be a part of this movie. And I think it's going to be all about the execution for me to like it. Because again, I want our Peter that we have right now to be full-fledged Spider-Man, right? Like, I want him to grow as an individual, and
like to be the Spider-Man, then to be a Spider-Man among Spider-Men.
Exactly. Like, I want something that's gonna set apart this Peter from everyone else. Not that there isn't things already like that, but I want him to grow, right? Like, I want him to be Spider-Man. I mean, he has. I don't want him to not have the ability to conquer his fears and insecurities. I want him to have the ability to do that on his own, rather than having like this these mentors kind of hold his hand through everything.
Yeah, honestly, I think it might be too late for that because I think my complaint with Far From Home was that at that point he should have already been mentorless.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. I think that's a good point.
And he still kind of had like Happy like holding his hand because.
Yeah.
He was constantly screwing up, which I get. But he's still young and whatever. He's still in high school. But after the events of Infinity War and Endgame and losing Tony, sure, he lost his mentor prematurely.
For sure.
But he needs to also begin to grow into himself because at this point it feels like he constantly needs like a mentor crutch to continue successfully as a character.
Yeah.
And so I think here in the Untitled Far From Home sequel,
yes,
we're going to end up getting the other Spider-Man teaching him how to be Spider-Man the same way that Peter B. Parker in Into the Spider-Verse was teaching Miles.
Right. And I mean, it's gonna be a fun concept, right? A very fun concept. It's just I just want movies, and maybe we will get them, and maybe it'll be brilliant. And I'm gonna eat my words later about being worried about having these other two Spider-Men there.
Mm-hmm.
I just want a movie where it's Peter dealing with his problems on his own. Not that you can't have help, right? But Spider-Man is notorious for taking on 6 villains at once and still coming out on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Does he have help in doing that sometimes? Sure. But for the most part, he's doing most of the legwork himself.
Yes, exactly. And there's so much heart in it is the thing, right? And this is why Spider-Man is so important to like almost every story he is in, Civil War specifically. I know we've like mentioned this, but I mean, he was the heart and soul of this. Like he not only does he like beat the Sinister Six, like, you know, in the comics or whatever, and beat all his foes in the comics whenever he does, but he does it with heart. Like, that's how he wins. It's like he's like an anime fucking character. I do it because of, you know, my friends. Like, I want to win for my friends, you know, that kind of idea. You know, that kind of
like that scene in Homecoming where like he's under the building and he like lifts it off of himself after being beaten to crap.
That was perfect, and that was one of the moments that I was hoping to see in this new Spider-Man series. Is that moment, because it's there in the comic books when it happens. The whole building's on top of him, and it's just this wonderful moment of I might not be strong enough physically to do this, but my heart knows no bounds. You know, that kind of that again, like that sentiment, and I think that was important. Yes, but I have to. It doesn't matter because I have to do it. I have to go save X, Y, and Z. You know, and I don't know. I just really hope that there's a scene where everyone is down and out and he's the only one left and he has to finish the job or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting kind of a conversation to have in terms of this Peter, because he is very different, but also I need him to stand
wildly
alone.
Different. Yeah,
I need him to stand alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need him to be what he has to be. But
yeah,
I'm a little tangent on that.
Let's see what else got announced. Fantastic Four got announced. We're finally,
that was one of the bigger ones. Yes.
Now that the rights came back, and I don't want to talk about this forever. I want to talk about it maybe a couple minutes, just because we only have a logo at this point. That's all we have.
Yeah.
I don't, as much as I've talked about wanting Doctor Doom back again to get a good Doom, I don't want him to be in this first movie.
I think he would be an interesting next phase villain. You know what I'm saying?
I want him to come out towards the end of this phase, because that's the kind of villain that's the kind of like spot that he deserves. So I think so too. And I don't want him at all in like this first movie.
And we've had villains like, you know, of his caliber not really get a spotlight, but they'll get like a movie, and then it's like, okay, they no longer exist. You know what I'm saying? Like with Ultron, or like with you know, whatever else, Dormammu kind of.
Dormammu is a really good example. I mean, Dormammu will probably come out in the second Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. So I'm not worried about that. But Doctor Doom is like one of those prolific Marvel villains. Like one of my favorite villains of all time. I love Doctor Doom.
Oh, yeah. And he's on the Thanos caliber in terms of like, you know, a lot of his very presence, you know, invokes panic. His
presence, his power. Anxiety.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that Thanos does, Doctor Doom can do with magic.
Right.
And technology.
And then this puts magic at assuming that we get, if he were to be a next phase villain, and Marvel, please take notes. This would put more magic more at the forefront of this universe than it has ever been before. I mean, because up to this point, like, we've had a lot of science and technology kind of be at the forefront. And yes, magic exists with Thor and with Doctor Strange and all that stuff. Yes, we know it's around.
Well, the movies, they explain that Thor doesn't do magic. It's like alien technology shit.
Right, but
they're not even like framed as god. No, yeah, but they've like gone out of their way to avoid using the word magic.
Yeah,
they've like explained it away. Oh, Asgardians aren't gods; they're aliens.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. We as comic book people and as normal moviegoers, we know what it is. Like, I'm sure there's some weird Christian agenda somewhere in there.
So for me, because they're different religion. But I think for the first movie, I think that they can pick like a smaller Fantastic Four villain, or I guess not even like a smaller one, just one that maybe doesn't need like a whole like phase arc. Like, we could take someone like Molecule Man, Super Skrull, Wizard.
Super Skrull would be cool.
Super Skrull, I think, would be hype. I think they could even like go ahead and tie that in with their origin.
Yes, for sure.
Kang the Conqueror is going to end up being in the next Ant-Man movie, which we got the title for, Quantumania. So I guess he could end up popping in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is still happening. Blade is still happening. Moon Knight. Moon Knight's happening too.
Oh, and they casted Oscar Isaac, right?
Not that I know about. I think that's still like the fan favorite. I don't know if he's been cast.
Oh, okay. Let me fact check that. I thought they did. Moon Knight.
I think he's definitely like at the forefront, at least for like fans.
Casting. Oh, yeah, no, you're right. There has been no... Oh, yeah, there's only dream castings. I thought he was officially cast.
Yeah.
Well,
and
there's this...
I want Oscar Isaac, personally, but if they can find someone who can do it just as good, then so be it.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of reports that are saying Marvel blasts over Oscar Isaac casting as Moon Knight. I've been seeing a lot of people saying that he is already.
I mean, it might be a leaked cast and not like a confirmed cast.
Discussing Film tweeted this, that he was cast, but you might be right. I'm not sure. Anyways, I am excited for Moon Knight.
Moon Knight should end up being really cool, just because, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know who Moon Knight is, because he's not exactly like a Captain America or an Iron Man.
Oh, for sure. Caliber,
He's basically Batman who kills with, like, the blessing of an Egyptian god.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's like the long and short of it, to make it really simple. So I think it'll be a really cool show. It should end up being something like... Or I guess it could end up taking, like, the same-ish tone as Daredevil, but with killing and money.
And money.
Money is half the battle, Chief.
Absolutely. I agree with you. No, that's cool.
But yeah.
I mean... We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And I mean, of course, all of this is all just like casting. I mean, casting. These are all just news and stuff like that. So
we have logos.
Anything could change, especially especially with COVID and how that's kind of playing out lately. Yeah. I mean, anything can really change.
Speaking of that, did you hear that the Spider-Man 3 is due out December 17th of 2021, Year of Our Lord?
That's when it's coming out?
Yeah, next December.
No
17th.
way. Holy shit, so we could see a fucking trailer by like
summer.
February, March. Well, they sometimes do those teasers super early.
Oh, they do some of the teasers, but I mean, Black Widow's not even out.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
They might push it back.
I hope they just Spider-Man fucking give it to us,
to fit Black Widow in somewhere. Like, if Black Widow ends up being released in some form, whether it's theaters only or theaters and Disney Plus after a couple months, or Disney Plus and theaters at the same time.
For sure.
They might end up doing it later than they project, and I have to push back Spider-Man a couple months. Because that's what they would always do. Whenever one movie got delayed, they usually had to push back everything else a couple months to keep in line with the way that Marvel usually does things, how they space out their movies a couple months out from each other to avoid brand burnout.
Right. I mean, Disney, you know, it's interesting, though, about you saying that is brand burnout with Disney Marvel makes sense, but brand burnout for Disney Star Wars and Disney Marvel, although they're part of the same brand, them coming out simultaneously how they have been, I haven't been experiencing brand burnout in that
like having
fashion.
Marvel and Star Wars at the same time.
Right. Like, yes, exactly.
Well, I would say
think that's
because
very
that they're wildly different entities.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
But I mean, they also have their own different heads, right? I mean,
No, they're whole different heads, different departments. I mean, I think the closest that they get is that they use the LucasArts. What's it called? The light something. It's how they do their special effects.
oh yes, the other company, yes.
Yeah. They're actually there at Disney in
Yeah.
California.
Yeah, that makes sense.
LucasArts.
I mean, I just thought it was interesting because you brought up brand burnout, and it does exist, and I have experienced it a little bit with Disney Marvel, but I feel like they've learned a little bit.
Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah. Yes,
Them.
exactly. Yep.
I mean, that and we are starved for good Star Wars content.
Yep.
We don't have good Star Wars content like 9-10 months out of the year. Except for 2020 because we got was the last season of Clone Wars after like 100 years.
Right.
I mean, that was amazing stuff.
Oh, good.
Amazing
yes.
stuff.
No, yeah, it was awesome. Clone Wars is great, but I agree with you. It's hard, especially when you don't ask for movies and all of a sudden we get a Han Solo movie. Not that Han Solo isn't good, because Han Solo is a 100 B+ movie in my opinion. B- maybe, but if you're really being critical about it. But yeah, no, I totally understand that aspect of oh shit, what the hell? My computer's
Honestly, I think. I mean, not to say that COVID is a good thing.
No,
but like
no.
not to say that, but like the pushback that we've had on Black Widow might be for the best. From like a consumer kind of thing, because we were getting
maybe
Marvel
that's their
movie
play.
after Marvel movie after Marvel movie
Yeah.
for years, and now it's like time to just stop. We need a whole 365.
Which is, I mean, might be what their play is. It's going to be
refreshing.
That might be what their play is. 'Cause, I mean, we've kind of complained about not having Black Widow yet, but I mean, you bring up a really good point.
We complain about it, but it might be for the best from like a consumer standpoint.
Oh, for sure, dude. I can agree with that. I mean, again, I was gonna see it either way, but I guess my attitude going into it's gonna be different as time passes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially since it doesn't fall into like an important time space.
Yeah. No, it's not
because
continuing the phase.
It's before Infinity. Was it before? No, it's before Endgame.
It's before Endgame, yeah.
Yeah, it's before Endgame. So I mean, we already know what happened. She's gonna live. Probably the majority of her family's gonna die.
Yeah.
And that's probably why she's gonna be depressed by time of Endgame.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, we'll see what happens when that movie comes out, and I think that my attitude going into it's gonna be different once we finally get to see it, and it's just I don't know, their choice with Black Widow I think is a mixture of a lot of things, you know.
Yeah, while it's a movie that we all want, and we kind of want to see at this point, despite it not being the kind of spy espionage movie that it would probably be better for.
Right.
I think we just want it. We just want it at this point.
Yeah, just please let us see it.
Because it's been done. The trailers have been there. I want to know whether or not Taskmaster is going to be a one-off movie villain or if he'll come back later.
I would love for him to come back later, like
have some cool fights with Cap.
Either that or Daredevil,
like Cap, like Falcon.
Right. Or Daredevil or Spider-Man, even like.
Yeah, like some of like the recognized Marvel pugilists.
Spider-Man would be cool. I like seeing their fights. But who knows? And the other thing that I this wasn't included in the Disney Investor Day stuff, but wasn't Deadpool 3 officially? You knew what I was about to
Yeah, I was like, he's gonna talk about Deadpool, isn't he? Yeah, they didn't bring it up at all. Because I think they're still letting the Fox Studios that they own do it.
Good. They should.
But I don't know if it's going to be tied into the MCU.
Right.
I don't know for sure.
Right.
And I also don't know for sure whether or not they've like forced down this has to be PG-13 or nah.
Well, that's another
rated R.
That's another interesting conversation because I've read, and now I don't know how everyone else feels about this, but I've read that the PG-13 version of Deadpool was not bad. Like, I've read that it wasn't awful to watch.
No, it's just a different cut, getting rid of all the R stuff.
Right.
Because the as much as the Deadpool movies are rated R, they don't hinge on being rated R.
Which is cool. Which is good.
Which is like unlike I guess
Blade.
What's it called? The Blade movies, or I'm thinking of damn it, what's that superhero movie?
Spawn?
No, am I thinking of Superbad? I think I'm thinking of Superbad.
Superbad? You mean the one with Jonah Hill and
Oh, well, Superbad 1, sure, but wow, what is it called? Damn it.
With
Aaron
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass.
Yes, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
Kick-Ass. Yes.
Yeah, Kick-Ass 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Both of those are like, those kind of hinge on being rated R. There's not much more story underneath them being rated R. For sure.
But I mean, I'm excited for it. I hope that everything works out for the best in that regard. But wow, we've talked about a lot of things today. Little snippets.
We have a lot to talk about.
Little snippets here and there of everything. I hope everyone's enjoyed our return, and you're gonna be seeing changes to Geek Gourmet as weeks progress, as months progress, and we're gonna try to. We're always trying to improve out here.
Yeah, soon we're gonna be doing something real interesting.
In this, and if it's bad, you can blame Boom. No, I'm just kidding.
Please don't.
I'm just kidding.
Please only say nice things.
No, Boom is great. We love Boom. But yeah, we'll see y'all next week. We'll have more to talk about. Maybe we'll I don't know if there's anything specific y'all would like to hear our opinions about. Feel free to put them in the comments or talk, or even just start a conversation down there. We would love to chat and talk about it. But anyways, as always, remember to have fun, be safe, and to keep those bellies full. Boom and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.